Hey everyone, how's it going? It is Chris here, and we are getting ready for bourbon night with the Winnipeg Whiskey Club. We're having it at my house here in the backyard, so we just got everything all set up. Just got a couple last minute things to do, including putting some tape on the deck because it's a two-level deck, and people seem to always trip on the upper level there. So this is it here. So we got a little bartending station here. We got a garbage for stuff, gazebo. I think we've got enough room here for about 30 people. And we got extra chairs downstairs if we need it. And this is where everybody seems to trip here. So even though we've got a piece of black tape here, but I think I'm going to put the green painter's tape just to be safe. So should be a good night. It was threatening rain, doesn't look like it, so fingers crossed. Wind has died down a little bit, so that's good too, and should be a really good night. So yeah, we'll talk to you in a bit here once everybody shows up.
But I was thinking that we use.
Yep.
Hey? That might just I was just wanting to put it like this so we have something. Maybe we can put the waters in here.
Yeah.
You want
it doesn't move.
Yeah, let's put waters in here.
Yeah, just leave it there and then put the water there.
Should we put the waters like right here or what? Yeah, let's put the waters in here. Fifth annual Bourbon Barbecue, the badass Bourbon Barbecue from the Winnipeg Whiskey Club. We have 10 bourbons or American whiskeys as part of our tasting, and then we've been supplied graciously by Beam Suntory with 2 others, and Dan has also brought another tasty treat for us as well. So we have a lot of whiskey to sample tonight. So thank you all, first off, for coming. Thank you, Chris, for hosting.
My pleasure.
And thank you, Beam Suntory, for providing some delicious stuff. I've got a lot of things that I have to remember to say. So, in regards to our tasting, we're going to focus. We're going to try to go through each whiskey within a 15-minute time period. Of course, you can take your time, and if you're feeling like you're going to tap out or anything like that, we do have sample vials available, so you can take things home. I'm just gonna hold my babies. I've been known to spill things today.
Labels out!
I'm gonna drop these.
You only one.
I'm gonna drop these.
Stand in
Great
the
job,
grass.
dude.
Thank you, Beam.
This is gravity. I'm not good with gravity. Okay.
You just have a turkey, do guys.
So we have a lot of people to thank. We have Mike for bringing some pork and some dinner. We have Joel for providing a bottle or 2. You brought a bottle? Can't remember. So many bottles are here, so it's hard to remember where they all come from. Will is also a gentleman who's brought some really tasty treats. So we've got, if I'm missing anybody, please just chime in. This tasting is not a traditional one where we're sitting down like we did at Patent 5 or any previous tastings. It's more of a, you get your Glencairn and you come up and you get yourself a passport. Each one of our whiskeys that's part of the tasting has a little flame beside it. So we're gonna hole punch, and we're gonna just keep track of who's had what. Sadly, there's no seconds, but we do have those additional whiskeys and other things to try afterwards if you're still thirsty. What else do we have here? Yes, we do have food. So before we get to the food, we're going to be doing everything in kind of rounds, so we can focus, like before we get too over imbibed on things, and we keep some of our beautiful whiskeys that typically go into an end of a tasting. We're going to have headliners as we go. So you're going to go, it's all quality. However, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're all going to have to talk about this one, and then we'll do 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 again. And we're gonna have 3 headliners and 3 rounds of whiskeys. Okay. In between rounds, you're welcome to grab food beforehand, during, whatever. Grab some food. We've got brisket. We've got pork. Brisket's not here yet. Andrew's the only guy missing. We've got salad. We've got munchies. We've got crackers even, and a veggie plate for anybody who's gluten free or gluten intolerant. I'm sorry, I don't. That's all. You can eat some pork, I guess, right? Okay, so bunless pork. So we got lots of things to eat, and again, thank you for contributing to this awesome evening. I'm not done.
Yes, you are.
We're gonna pour one at a time in order of the rounds, and as we go, whoever is pouring, if they want to tell you something about that whiskey, that's cool. If we don't, we can always just. You guys are all welcome to tell us what you guys know about your bourbons. We're going to try to keep it informative, but we're going to try to go fast. We're going to eat. We're going to do all that stuff and enjoy everything at a nice, quick pace. I'm not the leader of this group necessarily. Consider the vice president of this Winnipeg Whiskey Club. And therefore, there's Andrew.
There he is.
Andrew didn't miss anything yet, Andrew. Good. I do want to talk about our president of the club, my co-founder, Mark Kaufman. He is a gentleman that if you were at our Patent 5 distillery tasting last month, he showed up right up the end. Mark is enjoying a new opportunity, and he's currently in Korea. His family is from there. His wife and his kids were born and grew up in Korea, and he's found a job out there. So I've found a couple of gentlemen that are going to assist me in running this club in the future. Mark will come back here and there, but currently he's just not available. So you got to look at me and everybody else who's part of the club now that are going to continue on. We're going to innovate this club. We're going to make everything run as smoothly as possible. We're going to try our very best to have everything more updated and more information sooner. Sorry that it didn't necessarily happen this month, but future months we're going to have everything announced a lot earlier. We're going to try to probably do at least 3 months in advance so everybody knows what's happening 3 months in advance. And we're going to, of course, we got our bourbon. We're going to get back into Scotch next month. We're going to focus on all the regions of Scotland. And we're going to actually have some pretty cool, hopefully have some pretty cool swag at that event as well. Speaking of swag, everybody here, kind of over in this direction here, I'll hand everything out to everybody as we go. We've got things from Beam Suntory. We've got an old-fashioned kit. We have a couple Basil Hayden's barbecue grills and a couple of glass shakers. So in order to win those things, there are things that are available to everybody, but we might do some skill testing questions, or you give me 10 push-ups and you get something. We'll figure out how people are going to win all this swag by the end of the night. Maybe we'll make it as easy as if somebody has a really awesome tasting note, you get something. Or if you're going to contribute to the evening in any way in regards to the whiskey, if you have an excellent comment, here's some swag. Just to make it nice and easy. Will, did I miss anything?
I think you've done an awesome job. Thank you very much. And just to touch on what you were saying, usually we schedule our meetings for last Wednesday of the month. So as James was saying, next month we're looking at the regions of Scotland. The month after that, so October, the end of October, that last Wednesday, we will be looking for scary stuff. So, we'll try and find some bottles that have like either spooky theme or ghost stories related to it. And then I don't know if you want to talk about what we're thinking about for November.
Yeah. So of course, Scotch, scary stuff. November is an interesting one because typically in December we have not much going on because Christmas time lands right at the end of the month. And November is typically our gala. Which is another premium event such as this. We might consider moving that a little bit further down the road, so it's, you know, not super cost heavy or anything like that. So soon after this one, but in November, which might be November, early December, depending on if we can get a particular rep from the distillery. We're going to be focusing on a Swedish single malt distillery called High Coast. High Coast is really neat. They use very small barrels and all sorts of different barrels to shape their whiskey. But I've had the opportunity to try a bunch of them. I think many of us actually have. But it's just an excellent distillery that is Scotch from Sweden, essentially, right? So it'll open your eyes to more things that you might not have considered before, and you'll really like it. I know it. So that will also potentially include somebody from Sweden. His name is Lars. I believe he's part of the distilling process at High Coast, and he's going to be coming in town, and we're going to try to get him here. So we might have an actual face to the name High Coast. So very excited for that.
Has the club tasted High Coast before?
I don't think we've actually featured one. I know that there's been a lot when they first came to Canada. There was a lot of us grabbing them. I can't remember if we've maybe featured one, but I don't think we have. I did actually, because I remember it was your first time with us last year. I brought one to the gala. So we've all tried one particular one. If you were at that event last year, that was called the Have, and that was actually available in our liquor marts here. So
Is that the one at Mark's place? Or where was it?
it was at Mark's. Yeah. And it was outside of the tasting. I just brought it for everybody to try. Which is another thing, you know, Dan has supplied a bottle to share with everybody. So, you know, in future events, if you want to do that, you're welcome to.
It's a good way to get rid of heels. You know?
Yeah. Just you know, we try to just share and make it an awesome environment for everybody. Everybody has to feel welcome here, and just be comfortable while you're here. The last thing I'll say before we start pouring the very first one, our Michters, is if you're drinking, do not drive home. Have somebody do that for you. This is, we're all adults, we all know that, right? So, but seriously, okay? So take your time with everything, even though we're on a schedule. And you know, if you need samples to take home because you're driving and you're feeling a little bit outside of the soberness, we'll make you samples and you can take them home for later. Okay? Awesome. Okay, now you can clap.
Great job, Jay.
Pouring the Michters.
You want a hand?
Pardon me?
You need a hand with anything?
We'll get some.
Well, we need you up front getting the first whiskey.
There you go.
I can do that.
Number one.
So we have a Glencairn for everybody. They are here. Whenever you're ready, come forward and we'll get you your first whiskey. Awesome.
Short people first, that was the same.
You have your Glencairn?
No.
Hanging back.
So this is Michters American whiskey. So this one here, American whiskey, is unblended, 41.7% alcohol. It's an American whiskey because it doesn't follow the strict rules of bourbon whiskey. Bourbon whiskey can be made anywhere in the U.S. However, it has to undergo a ton of rules. Tennessee whiskey.
Heaven's always really nice.
And we went to Walter.
Yeah, once. Yeah.
Come up.
That's
a hole puncher.
popular. Yeah.
This one is
I don't think I've tried that one. I tried the one with the blue. Yeah.
It is.
You know, we're walking around. You want to? I'll never lose my drink.
Tickets, please. Thanks, Joe.
around the $89 mark. We do carry a Michters, but it's just a small batch bourbon. That one is available in Manitoba.
Basically, have changed their bottles since the last time I
Yeah, they used to have like a little bit of a paper wrapper or something that was kind of loose on it.
Hey, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Barrels. So all of their bourbon barrels that they use come from Heaven Hill. Cavalan, a Taiwanese distillery, also uses Heaven Hill barrels as well. So, you know, it just seems like the guys who know what they're tasting, they like the barrels that come from Heaven Hill. So this is a 12-year-old bourbon, and it's bottled by Cadenhead, which is the Scottish independent bottler primarily, where they actually release a lot of Scotch whiskies more. Springbank owns.
It's the
Or
distillery.
Cadenhead's owns Springbank.
The warehouse is hosted in Springbank, but Cadenhead's is a independent company up their own.
There you go.
If you ever get a chance to visit Scotland, go to Campbellton and go to the Cadenhead tasting. You will not regret it.
I did a tour of Heaven Hill this spring.
Nice.
Or you can go to the source if you look for that. They're equally good options. I would recommend doing both.
Try it.
Jeez, look at that, eh? That would put culinary Kurt. Wow.
There you go. Good efforts.
Jeez, eh? My little brother Kurt, he does a good brisket. I wonder what he'd think of that. That looks amazing. Yeah. What do you think, culinary Kurt?
Our son's friend runs Blue Haze Barbecue in Oyster.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a smoker or
Just a Weber kettle.
a which?
A Weber kettle.
A Weber kettle?
Yeah, it's one of those little kettle barbecues.
Oh, I'm not familiar. Well,
But
I don't think anyone will complain.
No, that looks
I think we're
fantastic.
okay. Nice and juicy.
So how long did it take to cook that? Like
Overnight, and then it's been in the oven at 12 hours. So that's-
12 hours, eh?
yeah,
Nice.
so probably about total of about 30 hours cook time.
Really?
Well, I let it sit in the oven all day,
Yeah.
but oh yeah, that's falling apart.
Wow. Wow.
This side's the fatty end, that side's the lean end when you're looking at it. So,
Holy crap. That's amazing.
yep.
Good to go?
Good to go.
Nice. Well done.
We're gonna get the whiskey into your glasses next. As soon as he washes his hands.
So behind the barrel is just like Camp Runamuck. It's an educational bourbon training camp that bartenders apply to attend, and if they're lucky, especially Canadian bartenders rarely get a spot, they'll get a spot, and then everything's covered. And then Grupa Campari flies you down to the Wild Turkey Distillery, and you camp on the front lawn. You glamp in like the big yurty thing, and then they do all the the food, and you go skeet shooting with the Russells and do activities, and obviously whiskey education. You tour the distillery, you tour the rick houses and stuff. So that's one of the many bartender trips that I've been on. It's pretty cool. You can look up behind the barrel. But anyways, when I was there, I was learning all about wild turkey and stuff, and how they make wild turkey. They emphasize a really unique cut of the distilling run. When they do their cuts after distillation, they try to leave in a little drop of methanol, which is weird. If it comes between the foreshots and the heads, that's usually considered really poisonous and really bad for you. But of course, they do it within tolerance, only to provide a really rich, meaty, complex, savory characteristic to the whiskey. So when you look at wild turkey compared to other houses in Kentucky, what they'll do is they kind of characterize themselves with that rich robustness. So that's why the Wild Turkey 101 was good to go with Mountain Dew, because they're both really robust components, and there was only 2 bloody things in that drink, and it's a meme cocktail anyways, so it worked out. But when you look at Wild Turkey, whatever it is, whatever the skew is, you can expect that it's going to be robust and meaty and rich. So anyway, when I was there at Behind the Barrel, this was 2017, the Russells were talking about this new thing that they had started called Master's Keep. And Master's Keep is a program of specific barrel picks and specific really competitive stuff that they normally wouldn't do, because at Wild Turkey they're really traditional. Jimmy Russell, the eldest of the 3 master distillers, he learned how to make whiskey from mentors that were making whiskey before Prohibition. Because he's like pushing 80 now and he's still bumbling around the distillery in his golf cart drinking and shit. But he's been making whiskey for 60 fucking years. He used to roll barrels as a little kid, and he learned how to make it from people that were making it before Prohibition. So it's very traditional and classical, and they normally would never do a weird cask finish or a weird fucking expression. The Long Branch is made by them, and it was a really weird one because it was so light. Normally they have a really robust profile. So anyway, the Master's Keep and the Russell's Reserve and all of those different lineages and different marks were all developed and released more recently as like to be competitive and to go against the grain of what Wild Turkey traditionally produces. So they were telling us about the Master's Keep program, and they're like, yeah, we just put batch 1, the Oloroso cask, in the gift shop today. And we were leaving that day. So we had, like, before the bus went back to the airport in Lexington or wherever, we were like, oh, we had like 20 minutes of gift shop time. Go in there and get bottles signed, buy whatever you want, and then get the fuck on the bus, you're going home. So I went straight to the Master's Keep, and that's why it says batch 1, and I grabbed it. And then honestly, like, I had a dram and then I forgot about it because it's in the box, so I keep forgetting about it. So when we did the planning for the bourbon night, I said, let's fucking pour this. So I was super pumped for this. And yeah, it's signed by 3 generations of master distiller, you can see there. And I think on secondary, this bottle's like a G. So it's fucking crazy sought after, it's super rare. And I think there is the Master's Keep, the gray box, that you might be able to get in Manitoba, but this is the Revival. So it's pretty rare. Anyway, are there any questions about Wild Turkey, or is that clear so far?
It's good.
Incredible. All right, belly up, y'all.
Thanks, Joel.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Sure. So, yes, you could walk almost walk. Okay.
Cheers.
I could swim across the river in the winter.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you, old boy.
Oh, you're going to the bottom.
That's where it is.
On the bottom.
Figured it would be
Come on up, y'all.
it would
I'm
be a
not coming
shame
to
to
you.
be completely whiskeyed out before we try this. So that's why we kind of
Oh, that
cheers
is
it.
usually an inevitability,
wow,
Dan.
oh my.
Right, the designation, if you Google, or if you look on this sheet, you'll see that whiskey, right, bourbon, straight whiskey, Kentucky, barreled and bond, single barrel, all these have specific meanings within the American legal system. Of course, Y is all whiskey in every nation, so legally specific. One reason is, of course, taxes and all the money those fuckers need to collect. So anyways, if you want to look up the exact definition, it's right here. I'm not going to like list off the bullet points because it's a shitload of data. But just so you know, bottled and bond, straight, a little bit extra cool. When I get the first sip of this on the nose, again, more of a consistent American whiskey bourbon nose to this one. Pretty predictable nose. On the palate, I get a bit of fresh baked cookies, like chocolate chip cookies that are maybe baked an extra minute or two too long, so it has that extra dark bottom. So come on over and grab yourself some Old Tub.
Is Whistle Pig. And as you're aware,
We've
a lot of
had?
bourbon
Yeah, we got that one.
or Kentucky
Good.
style whiskey traditionally has to be at least 51% corn, and then there's usually a bit of rye or sometimes wheat, and they put something else in there to give it a different character. Whistle Pig is considered a rye whiskey, so in that case it needs at least 51% rye in order to be classified that within the American system. One of the neat things about Whistle Pig is that it's actually a relatively new distillery. It's set up in Vermont. This is their 10-year-old small batch rye. This is the one, one of their first products that they made available. And they obviously you had to start distilling back in 2005 in order for it to come out. Now, you don't have this one in Winnipeg, but I believe that they do have the Whistle Pig 6-year-old. So this is similar but different, just to give you folks a little bit of, something special. This one was a find from Calgary, the holy land in Canada of the unregulated liquor market. So, but, please, if you want to come up, we'll start pouring and you can enjoy the next sample here. Round 2, and we're going to come up to one of our signature ones. This is Weller. So some of you have probably seen the Weller green label in the LC. It's been there for a couple of years. Very beautiful product. They have a variety of Kentucky style bourbons. This one is the Weller 107 NT. So this one's a little bit different in that they actually use a majority mash bill of wheat in it, and they've also bumped up the proof. So whereas typically I think it's around 100 proof or 50% ABV, this one's 107. So just 53.5% ABV. And I believe that that does give it a little bit more character, a little bit more flavor, and using the wheat instead of corn as a majority also imparts a different character to it.
Yeah.
So we've gone from rye to wheat, and I hope that you're able to enjoy this one. I found this one from across the border in the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. It is probably a bit more difficult to get.
It does come in November and March here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you're looking
Nice.
for it, you've got an idea on the next one that you can find. And people would like to line up, we'll start the next round.
It's usually around $50 when it hits Manitoba. Well, 40 to 50. So, yeah, and it's amazing stuff.
It's like being a marathon.
We're nearing round 4.
Near round 4. Okay, I'll get the hole puncher ready for everybody here.
I think there's one that doesn't cut all the way through.
So the last round is going to focus on single barrel whiskeys. Bourbons primarily, except we have a Tennessee whiskey right here in the Jack Daniels. Single barrel, of course, is exactly that. It's whiskeys that's being chosen from the top barrels in the rick house. You know, we have small batch, we have regular batches and stuff like that, where they're blending their barrels to get their signature profile. Each one of these whiskeys may differ from the previous and the future single barrels, all kind of using the same mash bill recipes, but they're going to show different signs and different characteristics as the barrels are released. So we got E.H. Taylor. Do you know much about E.H. Taylor, Ben?
E.H. Taylor, the guy himself, kind of pushed for the bottled in bond during the Prohibition, because what's happening was they were making really good whiskey, bourbon, and they wanted something that will distinguish them from just a street whiskey. So the bottled in bond, you have to bottle at 50. It has to come from one distillery, and it's has to be bottled in a bonded warehouse, meaning a tax-paying warehouse.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a good thing and a bad thing at the time, because you want to be distinguished as, yes, I'm working with the government, we're good shit. At the same time, you're kind of wanting to push this so that the other distilleries don't sell as much. But yeah, E.H. Taylor, this one specifically, if you've had the small batch, it's slightly better. Comes from a smaller single barrel. And that being said, the warehouse that this is in as well is the warehouse that E.H. Taylor himself built in 1881, I believe. So we'll enjoy it, and yeah, start pouring.
It's one of my favorite looking bottles too. You know, that's not got anything to do with what's inside it, but it's good looking and it's delicious too.
Tasty box.
Look at this fucking lid, yo! It's got so many
You gotta
bumps
start from
on
the
it.
middle thing, no?
Well,
Like just put an ice
there is
cream
usually a, there it is.
Oh, there you go.
There's usually a perforated tab.
I don't think it's perforated enough.
Well, no, it's because there's
Oh,
the cap is textured, so you can't get your nail under it.
There you go.
There you go.
Fuck's sake.
Hooray! Save the
What's that
day.
talking about, man?
He is a hero.
Complaining as he's doing it efficiently.
Alright, good. Let's go, James. Baker 7. Let's go.
Thank you. I'm gonna get
Get it. Uh-oh, I did it again.
Baker 7, yes.
Keep doing
Okay,
this.
folks, we're on to the second last whiskey of the tasting, but we still have more than that.
Yeah, we have lots.
Yeah, we got lots.
This is Baker's 7-year-old. It's another single barrel, and this is Baker's Beam. That's his whiskey. So there's a bunch of Beam family members that all have their own. There's a couple of them that all have their own expressions. We have Booker's Beam. We have Bakers. We have the fellow
Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden is his name's on it. Where is it? Oh, it's also a Booker Beam. He's part of the Basil Hayden line. But all of these Beam products, they're coming from, of course, that one distillery. But this one is their only single barrel outside. Well, contradicting all over here. This is the good single barrel, where there's another entry level single barrel, but this one has the age on it. It's higher proof, and it's epic. So this particular one, it's 107 proof, which equals about 53.5% ABV. It's advertised as a 7-year-old bourbon. However, that single barrel, they have information on the very top neck of this one. This one in particular, 7 years, 9 months. I've seen them 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, and they've even got a 13-year-old single barrel as well. That one's kind of a couple of years old, so it's probably going to be impossible to find. But you'll see that these say 7, but the actual age statement is on the neck, and it's typically a little bit older than the what it says on the main label. So who's up? Go ahead. Yeah, don't come charging at me or nothing.
Already. That's right. Yeah.
Gotta go.
Pre-stamped.
Did anybody else hear like a rustling in the bushes back there?
Oh, good. All right. Mulder?
Could be Earl of Squirrel.
I'll do better this time.
Yes,
I'll hold
good
the
to see
paper so you can't move it.
Oh, sure. Now I got a reputation.
It's safe to say that the Beam family has their hands on
Now forever.
so many bourbon.
All right, I'm out of here. Have a good night, you guys.
Oh, good night.
It's nice meeting you.
Take care, Matt.
Nice meeting you.
Take care, Matt.
Brother, have a good one.
See you, man.
Cheers.
We'll get in touch soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Cheers, buddy.
Anybody teach you not to talk to mouth?
Stay whiskey.
How are you? What
I can't believe I understood that.
Go ahead.
This is Charlie Brown over here.
You live in the same problem world I live in, Dan.
This is true.
You know what? I'll put it up here. There. All right.
That's what I gotta buy. I gotta buy a cigar holder.
Right?
I've got a couple.
Oh, sure. You never offered me any.
Well, they're expensive.
Yes, very good, sir.
Fair enough.
We made it! And everybody's still standing?
Ish. Some people are
I
sitting.
haven't had to cut anybody off.
Yet?
Yeah, yet.
You're not going to get cut off. You're leaving.
Wasn't talking about me.
I think there was only one time that you needed to be cut off, and we were too late to cut you off.
Well, you know, there's always other chances.
Sure, there'll be more in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
not the guy that disappoints.
Scary October thing.
So this,
Yes.
this is a very cool bottle of Jack Daniels.
That is a very cool looking bottle.
It
It is indeed.
Yeah.
So
Reminds me of the Weisers.
Yeah.
we have the Jack Daniels
Yeah,
single
totally.
barrel strength, Lynchburg, Tennessee. It is a Tennessee whiskey. It is not technically a bourbon, but Jack Daniels follows all the rules of bourbon making. So it is technically a bourbon. However, it undergoes the Lincoln County process, which is one extra step, which is filtering their whiskey through charred maple charcoal, essentially. And that's what differentiates it from bourbon. The location doesn't matter. Bourbon can be made in Alaska, it can be made in Kentucky, it can be made everywhere as long as it's following the bourbon rules, the 51% corn in the mash bill, the virgin oak, American, follow the ABVs of 65% going into the barrel, all that kind of stuff, and spend 1 day in a cask. That's what makes it a bourbon. Of course, it might not be a very delicious bourbon after only 1 day, so nobody really does that, but to be legally a bourbon, it has to spend at least 1 day brand new oak and follow all the other rules. So the difference between this one and other single barrels that you might find in Manitoba is the ABV and the label. The label is gold on this one. The silver label is what we have here, and it's 47%. This one is 62.5% alcohol. So of course it's naturally going to be our full headliner because it's going to burn our faces off potentially. The cool thing with Jack Daniel's, they have one recipe and they follow it all the way through. So this recipe is the same as what they put in their regular Jack. However, regular Jack is a pile of barrels all blended together, where this is an individual cask that has individual characteristics from the wood, and of course bottled way higher. So I guess let's thank everybody again, because we're at the very end here, folks. So thank you all for sticking around. Everybody who's left, who can't hear me saying it right now, they're going to get some in form of sample vials. What else does it say on here?
Nice color.
Yeah, you know, it's dark now, but it's also a dark whiskey.
It's got the RIC number on there when it was
Bottling date,
bottled.
April 10th.
Yeah.
Barrel number 23-03612. I don't know when it was laid down here. Let's see. Barrel house, master distiller. It doesn't tell you how old it is, but I don't think it's going to matter.
At least a day.
At least one day.
At least a day.
Yeah, at least one day, really.
5%, there's not an awful lot you need to worry about.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So who's first? Ladies first.
Yeah, thank you. Or me.
Tiana's first.
Yeah, you too, eh?
There you go.
Lovely.
Did you get your little stampy stamp?
No, I didn't.
Who's
Because I
punching
don't see
around here?
anybody with the punch.
Punch Tiana already.
Oh, ow.
Who's coming in September?
6. Me.
Oh yeah.
That's a good, that's
Your
a good
place?
question.
Your place?
I have no idea where it's going to be.
That's right. All right.
Went on a nice Kentucky bourbon tour and decided that each distillery that I went to, I would buy a bottle that was only available from that distillery. And that's where I got this bottle from.
And which one's that?
I can't remember the name of the distillery I got it from now.
Rebel.
Yeah, Rebel Distillery. That's it. Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Nice.
One of the 6 that I seen in one day.
Do you remember drinking it?
Yes, I had a sample of it at the time. Every bottle that I bought, I sampled that and 3 or 4 other bottles in order to choose that one. So
Sounds delicious, Dan.
it's
So now
really
you need to
good.
pour it.
Yeah. Now you need to pour it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
where's that shot glass?
You got a free pour.
No,
Ow,
no,
free
no,
pour.
don't.
You're
no.
a bar.
Just fucking free pour.
You're a bartender. Don't
Oh,
drop
free
it.
pour. All right,